Hello everyone and welcome back to Total Football Talk. So this morning we're going to look at the latest news coming out surrounding Manchester United. And as per usual, there's always plenty to get our teeth into. So at the minute, we've got the big story, and I think it's the one that's kind of dominating the headlines everywhere. And it's the one everyone's talking about, and that's Garnacho to Napoli. Now, I've kind of been talking about this for the last couple of days. Figures have been banded around. Opinions have been thrown out there. We've heard stories about agents in Barcelona, his agent out in Barcelona meeting meeting Napoli, and talks happening. And, there's been a lot of kind of groundswirl across the internet. But last night, Fabrizio Romano did come out and say that he is a dream signing for Antonio Conte. So Antonio Conte is absolutely he's really on the trail of Garnacho. He really believes that he's the one that can come in and fill that space that for the player that they've just sold to Paris Saint-Germain, Kvaratskhelia. He's obviously pretty much gone now. They need a replacement. Manchester United know that the value of Garnacho is pretty high. He's had a really brilliant start to his career. This season's been a little bit trickier for him. Just let me know, you guys, in the comments, what do you think he's worth? Just give me an idea, give me a figure. What do you think he's worth? Because the money at the minute that Manchester United are talking around £60 million, I believe. Is that a reasonable figure? Is that too little? Of Manchester United become a selling club? What is the history of Manchester United? Manchester United is all about bringing through young players and seeing them progress and excel and thrive in the first team. We're not a selling club. We've never really been let's bring the youngsters in and sell them off. Chelsea have done that. Manchester City have done that. They've brought young players through, not necessarily into the first team, but they've found some absolute gems and they've made them. They've essentially put them out there and they've sold them and made a lot of money of them. But Manchester United have always been, back to the Busby Babes, have always been about bringing the young players into the team and helping them grow and become institutionalized and part of the fiber of the fabric of this great club, which is obviously struggling at the minute. But are we now going to sell? Are we going to sell Garnacho? I know there's talk about Kobe Mainoo as well. Are we going to sell Kobe Mainoo? Where are we with all this? But Garnacho to Napoli, I wouldn't like to see it happen. I think there's a lot of potential in Garnacho. I think he's got, if we were to sell him for, say, talk six, we did sell him for 60 million. If Napoli get a couple of good seasons out of him, does that mean his value goes up again? Will we be clever enough to put in a clause that allows us to, put in a clause that allows us to get a sell on, or maybe a buyback, or both? Recently we've been doing that. We didn't do that with the previous regime because they just hadn't a clue what they were doing, which come to this day absolutely baffles me. But Garnacho and this particular story is rumbling on. Looks like it is gathering a lot of speed. But Napoli do say it does come down to the financials. Can they afford him? Can they afford his wage? Yes, because Garnacho's not on a massive amount of money. I think it's around £70,000 he's on at the minute, something in and around that. So in the grand scheme of things, yes, to you and me that's a lot of money, but in the grand scheme of football, that's actually not too bad. So can they cover his wages? Yes. Can they afford his fee, his transfer fee? I think they probably can, but I'm not sure they actually want to. So it will come down to who is going to be sort of the clever in the negotiation situation here. Manchester, he's still on a contract to Manchester United. So, Manchester United do not have to sell him from the perspective of his contract. But they maybe do have to sell from FFP and PSR position because they maybe need to bring the money in. There's obviously a lot going on there with Garnacho. And, we will just have to see where this leads. The months are the clock's ticking, the days are disappearing fast. The end of January is coming in, and as I said, obviously Napoli have sold a big player in the middle of a big season for them. They're up challenging for Serie A. They can't do without a replacement. I don't believe they can just allow one of their best players to leave and not bring someone in. So obviously there's been talk of Marcus Rashford, but last night there was more news came out from Rashford's side, from the Italian side, that Marcus Rashford is really interested in the Italian project. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, a previous United player who played with Rashford, has sold him an idea. And I believe at the minute Marcus Rashford is kind of, he is leaning into that. But I also think that, if Barcelona were to come in at the 11th hour and make a bid for Rashford, I think that he could be the one. Rashford could go to Barcelona. He could just flip in a second and maybe see Barcelona as a better prospect than, AC Milan. I mean, both are, playing Champions League football. AC Milan aren't challenging for a title. Barcelona are. So maybe the attraction and the lure of La Liga, might be that little bit more for him. And in the he might be able to push into that team and, get into a title run with Barcelona. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. But I've said it before and I'll say it again, if we were to lose two players, Rashford and Garnacho, we're really short in bodies. Talked yesterday about Real Betis for Anthony, but where are we? Like, we can't just let everyone go. And obviously then there's the other players that we need to look at. Casemiro, I've mentioned it again. Saudi, MLS, are we actually going to get any money for him? Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? Ericsson, we've got a raft of players that are just, there's just a lot of players there, and they're just sitting on the bench and they're costing us an absolute fortune. And we really need to get rid of some of these players, but unfortunately they hold no value. Their value is, and their stock is low because they're on high wages, which is absolutely murdering us right now. All that said, the next little bit of news coming out from Old Trafford is the next bit we'll look at is Luke Shaw. Apparently Luke Shaw is on the cusp of returning, according to the MEN. Looks like he's going to be back in the next couple of weeks. Do you think that Luke Shaw is actually going to be back playing for us in the next couple of weeks? Even if he is, how long? Please drop in the comments how long you think Luke Shaw will last between now and May. I have no idea. Maybe he'll get 3 games in a row and then he'll be out. Maybe he'll do 23 games and he'll play to the end of the season. God only knows. Great player, just cannot stay fit. Really disappointing that we've lost him for most of the season. Would be a real benefit on the left side of the defence to give Martinez a bit of a breather, because Rubin Amorim has said in his press conference that in the Arsenal game, Martinez run out of legs in that game, and that's why they put him up front. He just ran out of steam. And that's because we don't have any cover on that left side. Now, if Luke Shaw was fit and could stay fit between now and the end of the season, him and Martinez could rotate, and they're both very good on the ball. They're both very good at going forward and playing through the line. Well, Luke Shaw's might be better going forward. Martinez is better playing the ball through the lines. That'd be really helpful to us. So Luke Shaw coming back, very, very useful if he can stay fit. But I cannot believe that we're still not going to bring in someone on this left side. There's a lot of talk that Manchester United are not going to bring anyone in this transfer window. Oh my God, that's going to kill us. Absolutely murder us to pieces. So if that doesn't happen, we're in trouble. Moving on to the next little bit. Mason Mount, and we'll wrap it up with Mason Mount. Yeah, he is still behind Luke Shaw. No surprise there. He's still going to take time. The one thing Rubin Amorim has done is, and this was talked about Ben Foster. Ben Foster talked about this. If you are part of the squad but you're injured and you're left behind, you maybe don't feel part of the squad, and if you don't feel part of the squad, you can kind of go off and do what you want to do. Rubin Amorim is making these players that are injured travel to every game and be at every home game, travel to the away games. He wants these players to be part of this team. So what's the point of just sitting on the bench if you're injured but you're nearly ready to come back? Can you just give yourself that extra little push to get it across the line and be back out and be available for the coach? I think so. And I think that is the way he wants these players committed, involved, and to be part of this team one way or another, injured or not. He wants them out there. And I think it's brilliant. It's old school, but it's brilliant. You're part of it. Find a way to get back into it. That's his message. Find that extra 10% to give yourself the opportunity to play again. That's what you want to do. God, we all want to do. We all just want to play football. I wanted to just play football. I played through all kinds of injuries when I was, just playing amateur level, for God's sake. These guys are getting paid tons of money. And I'm not saying they should come back if they're not ready. But I'm just saying, if you have the opportunity to come back and be integrated into that team, let's do it. Let's start fighting for this club like the players were fighting in the Arsenal game. I'm not talking about fisticuffs. I'm talking about let's battle for that shirt. Let's give everything. Let's go out there, blood, sweat, and tears. Let's do it. Okay, guys, that's your 10-minute roundup. Thank you very much for listening. I'm Keith. If you're liking the content, hopefully I'm getting better at this. Please give me a like. Please give me a subscribe. Yeah, a couple of likes on this would be really helpful. Appreciate it, guys. Speak to you on the next one.